In a quaint American town, Sheriff John Tyson faces his final day on the job before retirement. Prompted by a farmer's report of a missing truck, Tyson, accompanied by his trusty assistant, sets out to investigate. Their attention is drawn to a peculiar scorched patch in a nearby field, surrounded by a circling flock of crows. Meanwhile, in Long Island, Anisha kicks off her day with a morning jog, seamlessly transitioning into her role as a nurturing mother, ensuring her children, Luke and Sarah, are up and about. Their playful interactions with their father, Amit, bring a smile to Anisha's face, reassured by the semblance of family harmony. Across the globe in Tokyo, astronaut Hin embraces the dawn as she prepares for her journey to space. Amidst bidding farewell to her beloved city and penning a heartfelt love letter, Hin delivers a poignant speech at the bustling spaceport, broadcasted across Japan. Back at the Space Research Administration, engineer Mitsuki's peculiar behavior towards the astronaut catches the attention of her colleagues. A sudden summons from management tasks Mitsuki with inspecting a critical spacecraft node, affording her an opportunity to bid personal farewells. While Sheriff Tyson and his assistant delve into the mysteries of the scorched circle, their investigation is abruptly interrupted by a swarm of locusts, compelling them to seek cover. Simultaneously, a puzzling occurrence unfolds at Anisha's children's school, as students inexplicably begin to bleed from their noses, excluding Luke. Concerned, Anisha rushes them to the hospital, only to find no discernible abnormalities. Despite multiple attempts, she fails to reach her elusive husband, Amit, discovering his absence from the city via Luke's astute deduction. As Japan celebrates the successful launch of the spacecraft, Mitsuko's unusual reaction raises eyebrows. Meanwhile, Anisha's quest for answers leads her to confront her husband's infidelity, though she refrains from immediate action. At home, a peaceful dinner is shattered by a sudden commotion outside, sending the family into a frenzy of panic, though the chaos soon subsides, leaving flames flickering in the distance. As Sheriff Tyson is honored by the city's leadership and colleagues for his years of dedicated service, he abruptly leaves the ceremony, driven by an unexplained urge to return to the scorched field. Standing amidst the eerie circle, he gazes skyward, seeking answers, only to be pierced by an unseen force. His final vision, a translucent entity ascending toward the stars. Meanwhile, Anisha witnesses her neighbors' homes being decimated, while Ahed futilely attempts to restore their lost connection. Descending to the basement for safety, Anisha finds herself unable to face her husband and rushes outside, where she's met with a scene of devastation and chaos. Survivors flee amidst burning streets, unsure of their next move, while some escape in cars. In a London school, Casper endures bullying from his classmate Monty, who taunts him for his illness and disabled mother. Intervention from the teacher halts the abuse, prompting the children to board the bus. In Tokyo, Mitsuki receives distressing news of the spacecraft's disappearance, triggering a cascade of communication failures with other space agencies. Investigating further, Mitsuki unveils her true feelings for Hin amidst the chaos. In Afghanistan, Sergeant Trayvon and his squad share moments of camaraderie, but underlying tensions surface during a call with his family. Meanwhile, a school bus carrying children encounters a mishap on a mountain road, leading to chaos and unconsciousness for Casper as the vehicle careens out of control. In Long Island, Amit's seemingly untouched home belies the sudden agony experienced by Luke, who hears a repetitive, haunting word. Anisha overhears a damning conversation between Amit and his mistress, just as Casper's unsettling episode coincides with a catastrophic event, plunging the bus into a deep canyon. In Long Island, Anisha springs into action as an unidentified object crashes through their window, prompting her to realize the urgency of leaving their home. Ordering her children to pack, she grabs essentials, while Trayvon's squad embarks on a combat mission to investigate lost communication with another unit. Surrounded by civilians pointing fingers at a school as a supposed terrorist hub, the squad finds only frightened children, one of whom exhibits a disturbing nosebleed and frantic behavior. Anisha leads her family to her husband's car, which inexplicably refuses to start, while Amit's last-minute attempt to leave solo exposes his marital betrayal. Determined, Anisha takes the wheel, navigating a city beset by power outages and chaos. Meanwhile, Trayvon's squad encounters a surreal scene in a partially destroyed settlement, where vibrating surroundings and sudden sandstorms precede the appearance of a towering three-legged object, leaving the sergeant unconscious and alone. As Anisha's family faces a daunting traffic jam, trapped school children emerge from the wreckage, their only hope pinned on a seriously injured driver. In Afghanistan, Trayvon's attempt to reach safety is thwarted by his injuries, leading to moments of consciousness amidst a hostile landscape. Casper and Jamila's efforts to aid the injured driver are overshadowed by Monty's hostility, fueled by his own troubled family background. At a roadside motel, Anisha's family grapples with the global chaos unfolding on television, while Monty's power play pits him against Casper, who harbors his own familial struggles. In Tokyo, Mitsuki defies her boss to uncover crucial information, aided by an unwitting colleague, while Monty's manipulation threatens to unravel Casper's world further, exposing secrets and vulnerabilities in the face of escalating turmoil. Anisha's family departs from the urban landscape. The woman, unable to contain her frustration any longer, voices her discontent with her husband's actions. Exhausted by the ongoing argument, Luke requests a halt to the car, ostensibly for a restroom break, and ventures into the nearby forest. Casper lands on Earth's surface, prompting Monty to assert that if this feeble creature could manage it, they all could escape. The children commence scaling the wall. An Afghan escorts Trayvon back to the city of their previous residence before the unknown object's assault. However, the streets lay deserted, leaving the sergeant without aid. Eventually arriving at a hospital, he encounters an injured Chavez, unaware of the other's whereabouts. A physician accuses the Americans of perpetrating killings, attributing the violence to their presence, which attracted militants now terrorizing the populace. Concurrently, schoolchildren emerging from the pit reach the road, discovering it in ruins with remnants of a celestial device strewn about. Upon inspection, Casper discerns Russian characters in Hayes' illustration of the event, predating the current crisis. In search of their son within the forest, Anisha and Amit stumble upon a woodland cabin inhabited by an armed elder. Recognizing their quest, he extends hospitality, offering refuge for Luke and the family. Trayvon finally reaches his wife and, despite adversity, pledges to return. She implores him to watch a televised address by world leaders. Meanwhile, Anisha watches the broadcast where the US president confirms Earth's extraterrestrial assault, urging global unity. Martial law ensues. Fleeing military confinement, Anisha embarks on foot to reunite with her family, encountering desolation along the way. Arriving at a devastated military convoy, Anisha attempts to commandeer a vehicle to no avail. After retrieving a pistol from a fallen soldier, she proceeds to a nearby house. Despite her calls, silence greets her. Investigating, she discovers a deceased dog on the ground floor. As the house trembles, she ascends to find her family. A homeowner aids her ascent, revealing her loved ones. However, tensions rise as the homeowner's wife insists they depart, despite his revelation of slaying an alien. Anisha resolves to lead her family away. Amidst heated debate, Sarah's cry draws attention to an alien intruder resembling a giant black octopus. Anisha shelters her daughter in a closet as the alien prowls. As the house tremors anew, the homeowner's wife falls through the floor, seized by an unknown force. Seizing an opportunity, Anisha and Sarah conceal themselves while Ahmed and Luke prepare to flee from the attic. Ahmed signals to his wife, indicating the barricaded door as their exit route. Though gripped by fear, Anisha follows her husband's lead. As Luke approaches the pantry, Anisha spots the advancing alien in the mirror, hesitating to alert Ahmed. The alien strikes, targeting Ahmed. Anisha seizes the pistol and guides the children to the basement. Breaking a window, she manages to push them outside before climbing out herself. At the entrance of the house, she finds a locked car. Suddenly the homeowner rushes out, throwing the car keys to Anisha. She opens the car and ushers the children inside. Despite the old man's attempts to shoot at the aliens, he is killed. Rain pours from the sky, obscuring Anisha's vision. Suddenly the windshield breaks, and an alien begins to climb into the car. Anisha shoots at it, but the bullets have no effect. Using whatever she can find, she grabs a piece of debris and strikes the alien, causing it to die suddenly. Shocked, she throws its carcass out of the car. Just as she prepares to drive away, she suddenly sees wounded Ahmed coming out of the house. Assisting him into the car, she speeds away. However, she stops when Ahmed's condition worsens. Meanwhile, Trayvon surveys the ruins of a nearby settlement, and encounters a family of Afghans seeking refuge. In England, school children make their way to a small village, where they encounter a woman who tells them about an alien attack. Initially skeptical, the children convince her to take them to London. In Japan, Mitsuki, her colleague and Hana's father, head to a space observatory to investigate. Mitsuki had managed to transfer command of the project there before communication was cut off. Anisha performs a tracheostomy on Ahmed, and he begins to breathe again, much to the children's delight. Meanwhile, Trayvon takes the refugees in his car and rushes with them to Kabul. In Tokyo, Mitsuki orders to direct the telescope to the location where the space station should be. She intends to establish contact with the aliens and send them a message. The school children reach London and go their separate ways home. Jamila goes with Casper because her mother is likely in the hospital, as she works as a nurse. At the same time, Anisha and her family find an unlooted cafe. The children are delighted with the arcade machines, and Anisha cooks lunch. Ahmed seems to rediscover his wife. She's an excellent driver and cook, and she even saved his life. He regrets spending so little time with his family. Later, they have lunch, happy to be alive. In Japan, the telescope continues to scan the sky in search of the space station's frequencies. Soon scientists realize that there is something huge above emitting a lot of energy. Mitsuki suspects that this is the sound of a billion individual voices, the collective mind of the aliens, and from this hum, it is necessary to isolate the voice of the Earth station. Meanwhile, Anisha's family reaches a shelter organized in one of the colleges, and unexpectedly, they meet a surgeon with whom Anisha operated on wounded soldiers. Ahmed is noticeably tense, realizing that these two have something in common, but Anisha leads her family to their assigned place. She has to admit to her son that she studied to be a doctor but didn't get her degree because of the birth of her children. She has no regrets about it. In London, Jamila gets Casper to admit that he saw the aliens before the attack in his fits, which he captured in his drawings. The boy tells her that he has always been special but was treated for epilepsy, and now he hears someone's calls in his head. Suddenly, they hear sounds made by an alien but manage to hide from it as it passes by. Trevant and the refugees reach Kabul, but on the runway stands the last plane which a multitude of people are storming to board. The surgeon gives up his precious rifle to get them inside. Meanwhile, Mitsuki finally finds the station's wave jammed by signals, but at that moment, the military bursts into the observatory and stops the process. The plane from Afghanistan lands, but it turns out it was flying to London. Trevant tries to find out how to get to the USA, but there is no communication with America. At the same time, in America, Luke inspects the base and meets a boy who got there earlier, and he offers to show him something special. In Tokyo, Mitsuki tries to ensure the continuation of her project to establish contact. The newly arrived boss convinces the military to give the woman a chance. In London, Jamila says goodbye to Casper, playing his favorite music one last time, and finally meets with her mother. In America, Anisha and the hospital doctors continue experimenting with parts of the aliens. It turns out that they die from interaction with the strange fragment. After such results, the military announces the transfer of Anisha's family to a Pentagon laboratory as the woman somehow managed to destroy one of the aliens. Hinata makes contact and asks for help. Although Mitsuki believes she is speaking with her friend, the military realizes that it is not a living voice. Most likely, what was Hinata is on the alien ship, therefore, that is where nuclear warheads could be directed. Hinata's father confirms that the voice is synthesized. In London, Casper is placed in a tomograph and induced into an epileptic seizure. In the USA, the vehicle transporting Anisha's family is unexpectedly attacked. The escorts fire back, but the car loses control and overturns. Casper's brain suddenly begins to flicker chaotically. The doctor does not understand what is happening. The boy sees everything happening around the Earth and utters Mitsuki's name. Trevant realizes the boy sees what the aliens see. Casper then warns that the aliens are already nearby. Then people see the aliens approaching the hospital. Casper comes to his senses and asks the sergeant to help him save people. At the same time, Anisha's family crawls out of the car and flees into the forest. In England, Casper says the alien is already in the elevator. In Japan, Mitsuki is cut off from communication, and when she demands it be restored, the military convinces her that she was not speaking to her friend. Recognizing the impending attack, Anisha seethes with anger as they prepare to kill Hinata. But she's reminded of the millions of lives already lost to the aliens. In London, Casper, Jamila and Trevant find themselves surrounded by aliens. Then the boy reveals that the aliens are inside his head, and he's inside theirs. Through sheer willpower, he shuts down the alien brain, but collapses in powerlessness. The sergeant carries him outside, where the boy loses consciousness. Anisha and the children witness an alien spaceship explode high in the sky, while the aliens themselves drop dead across the Earth. The planet celebrates victory. Hinata's father shares memories of his daughter with Mitsuki, including the childhood compass he gave her. In London, doctors try to revive Casper but declare him brain dead. Anisha, awaiting darkness, searches for her husband, but finds only the spot of his execution. Returning home to Tokyo, Mitsuki sees people celebrating the victory, praising Japanese scientists, and ultimately, her. Accepting her friend's death, she organizes a farewell ritual, gathering cherished items, including the compass. As Trevant prepares to depart, Jamila gives him Casper's album. Walking through the jubilant streets, the sergeant reminisces about his family. Anisha leads her children away from the crowds, sensing danger. They find refuge in an empty house for the night. Watching news of victory, Anisha refuses to return home, heeding her intuition. Across the globe, people collect and dispose of alien bodies. Mitsuki burns Hinata's belongings, bidding farewell. Trevant refuses questions about the missing squad, requests discharge, and returns home. In London, Jamila bids farewell to Casper, playing his favorite music one last time, then reunites with her mother. In America, Anisha and her children hold a symbolic funeral for Ahmed at his execution site. In the Amazon, study of the crashed alien ship intensifies. Though alien technologies remain enigmatic, the ship is believed to be alive. Trevant returns home, reconciles with his wife and announces his army departure. In Japan, Mitsuki stumbles upon an unfinished communication session with the space station, entering the password to activate it. That same day, Trevant and his wife picnic by the ocean. Finding Casper's album, Trevant discovers hieroglyphs naming the Japanese space station. Meanwhile, Luke discovers a living fragment. Casper's body suddenly awakens, transporting him to another world where he hears his parents' old discussions and receives Hana's father's compass to guide him. As Trevant and his wife gaze at the ocean, they're horrified by the sight of a gigantic alien ship looming over Earth. The series follows 4 distinct storylines of individuals navigating the alien invasion, each reacting uniquely. Despite experiencing love, loss and hope for survival, they realize the battle isn't yet over.